Hello everyone and welcome to today's Topia Passport webinar, Getting to Know Topia Plan. There will be a Q&A towards the end of the session. If you have any questions, please do drop them into the chat. And with that, I would like to hand over to Topia Solutions Consultant, Nina Brenneman.
Thank you, Holly. So thank you everyone for coming today. Just a short little introduction before we jump into the demo. So first of all, introducing the Topia platform. So Topia's global mobility platform allows you to effectively deploy and manage your mobility program end to end. So the Topia One platform is the only cloud-based solution designed to connect and standardize all of the data that's required to effectively deploy, manage, and engage mobile talent across the world. And the application, as you see here, are built on one integrated platform. And this provides you the flexibility and scalability both now and in the future as your program needs grow and change over time. So this empowers you to launch with one module or a few or all of them, whatever best fits your organizational needs. Now, in terms of the module, so today we're going to be focusing on Topia Plan, which is our cost estimate and scenario planning module. In addition to this, we also have Topia Manage, which supports workflow automation, document generation, and manages supplier data and insights. Topia Pay streamlines payroll delivery and compensation reporting, as well as expense and vendor payment management. Topia Go is our consumer-grade employee experience, which gives the employee tools to manage and interact with their mobility experience. And finally, Topia Compass is our business travel tax and immigration compliance application that allows you to manage a true distributed workforce. So with Topia Plan, what we look to address is really the challenges that exist today when you think about cost estimates and cost simulations as you go about planning a move. So what we typically see in the market is an over-reliance on manual third-party generation of cost estimates. So whether that is completely outsourcing it to a third party or working with an external party for tax calculations, there's a very, very manual process that a lot of people undertake today, which is both obviously burdensome, but also time consuming and not particularly cost effective. In terms of being able to work with a business and actually provide them information on a reasonable cadence or potentially real time, doing this manually obviously creates a slow turnaround, both for the business, but also when you go through and actually plan the relocation or assignment. And there are significant costs in obtaining cost estimates. So we see a lot of clients that either pay to fully outsource them or, like I said, work with a third-party tax provider to do the tax calculation piece, which is typically priced on a per estimate basis, meaning that every time you have to make a change, not only do you have to wait for it to be returned to you, but you also have to pay a fee with it. And this inability to make real-time changes really has a knock-on effect for the business. So obviously it means that you can't respond real-time to your business, meaning that they are then kept in that waiting position, but also means potential project delays if you're on a very tight time scale, and has sort of knock-on effects down the line. And then the final one, which is something I often hear from prospects in the market, is the inability to compare cost estimates with actual expenditure. And this is really a big one. Most people we speak to will do cost estimates in some shape or form, whether it's using a tool, using Excel, or outsourcing it. Most people will at some point try to compare that with actual expenditure. And I very much say try, because the reality is that often that lives in a number of different sources, whether it's an expense system, whether it's getting individual invoices from different vendors and so on. And trying to consolidate that easily and compare it with cost estimates can be a really significant task that can often take anything from a couple of days to a couple of weeks. So these are some of the challenges we see in the market today and some of the things that we address with Topia Plan. So Topia Plan provides instant cost estimates in an intuitive self-service experience accessible to everyone. So today I'll take you through both our simulation functionality and also our detailed cost estimate functionality and show you some of the reporting that goes with that to give you those insights on a real-time basis as you need them. So it allows you to build out a full business case supported by powerful out-of-the-box functionality around calculations, rates, and logic, and provides fully comprehensive policy and global coverage. So it can support any types of policies, whether it's short-term, long-term, equalized, non-equalized, and so on. And from an employee perspective, it's also really intuitive. So as they're interacting with the platform, they can see exactly what's needed from them at any time. For businesses, you have the ability to build unlimited scenarios. So when your business comes to you and says, can you give me an idea of what it would cost to send someone on a long-term assignment from New York to London for 3 years, assuming they're a VP with a certain salary, being able to give the business that ballpark and then make changes on the fly is something that our simulation functionality fully supports. And this is all delivered in a true consumer grade user experience. So not only is it easy to use, it's also pleasant and really intuitive. And then as costs are incurred throughout the assignment, you have that embedded detail and are able to view it on an individual basis, but also on an aggregated program basis. So with that, let's jump into the demo and I will show you what that looks like. So coming into the platform, I'm logged in as a mobility super user, and I can easily see from my dashboard exactly what I need to pay attention to. So I've got my to-dos, I've got my recent employees and my key searches. Now, from a business perspective, if we're thinking about the decisions that the business has to make as they consider their mobile talent and the investment that mobility is, we have created a simulation functionality that allows you to initiate a quick cost estimate that gives you easy insights into potential costs as you're looking to move someone on an assignment. So let's assume that I'm going to model a long-term assignment from France to the UK. We're going to select our international long-term assignment policy, and we're going to assume that the move starts in January, that it's for 3 years with a family size of 2 and a compensation of 180,000 euros with an appropriate bonus. So based on a few key details here, I can then go ahead and calculate a ballpark cost for this assignment. So there's no PII, so you could potentially give your business line managers access and they can come in and model this themselves. And it's really designed to be accessible to teams beyond mobility to ensure that it is as user-friendly and accessible as possible. So in a matter of seconds, I've got my fully loaded estimate created here, giving me all the cost across the different stages of the assignment, as well as fully loaded tax cost. Now I can change my currency should I wish to view it in a different currency. I can decide to only show incremental cost if I want to not take my base compensation into account. I can add cost if there are additional things I need to take into account. And I can, of course, download it as well should I wish to. And within each of these items, I can see exactly what's included. So thinking about household goods shipping, it's accounted for a 20-foot container, no air shipping, and storage for 30 days. And I can break into each of the calculations and see exactly what's included. So under incidental expenses, I can see that we've accounted for some driving license fees, mail forwarding, and medical examinations. I can go in and override values and add additional items should I wish to. and then I can recalculate the simulation and update it with that cost. So in a matter of minutes, I can pick up the phone to the business, give them an answer, and if they want to make changes, I can quickly do that. So say they wanted to assume a family size of 1 instead of 2, I can do that and then quickly recalculate the estimate and give them that answer even as I'm still on the phone to them. So this obviously addresses a lot of the challenges that we've seen in the market today. So first of all, being able to respond real time, providing a fully loaded cost estimate in a really intuitive and user-friendly way. Now, once the business have then decided on a specific assignee to send on this assignment, you can then go ahead and initiate a move. So that is a dedicated cost estimate for a unique individual. And I've got one that we created earlier that's now sitting with me for further input. So I've gone through the initial stages, and this will typically pass through various stakeholders. So collecting core details about the policy that we're sending the person on. Is it long-term, short-term? Where are we sending them to and from? Details about the employee themselves, in this case, Ava. Information about her current situation, and then information about the move itself. So I've defined that she's going from New York to London on a 3-year assignment. She's a VIP, and we expect her to repatriate at the end of the assignment. I've defined her family situation, which will of course drive some of the input on benefits and the costs that are associated with her assignment. And then I've defined the business case, so given the business the ability to have a fully loaded proposal when they're looking at assessing the cost for Ava's assignment. I've got alignment with my company objectives. So whether it's objectives around market success, whether it's around our culture or developing future leaders, I can then rate and see exactly how we align with that for this particular assignment. And then practically about the role that Ava will be undertaking, as well as the comp proposal. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that, and we will then move to the next stage of the workflow, which is defining the exact benefits proposal that will apply for Ava as she's going on assignment. And this is where the workflow is looking at the information that I've input. So thinking about the benefits, the policy itself, the information I've added around her family, and then building out that full proposal. So looking at Ava's workflow, I can see that the next step is sitting with my counterpart, Maggie, who's responsible for configuring the policy. So this is where I'll be able to define if there are any additional benefits that I want to provide to Ava. Perhaps we've chosen some things that are discretionary, some things where we've decided to have some flexibility. For example, adding a 40-foot container as she's moving with a family. And adding in a discretional benefit for spousal career assistance. And I can do that for each stage of the assignment. So whether it's the initial relocation, the ongoing stage, or the end of assignment, I can come in and fine tune those and define exactly what her entitlements are. Once I'm happy with that, I then proceed to generating the cost estimate. And we've spent a lot of time thinking about the best way to create and display cost estimates. So we've completed a complete off-the-shelf cost calculation engine and set of mobility rate table, which means that just within a few seconds, we've got that complete cost estimate, including taxes calculated by the Topia tax engine, which covers over 110 countries. And it can be run on each individual's exact situation and policy, and then quickly iterated upon and reviewed. So the calculations and rate tables can be configured for customer logic and specific agreed vendor rates if a customer has their own vendor rates that they choose to use. And you can easily make changes, exceptions, and add items to the cost estimate and recalculate as many times as you like with no additional fees. So we've now got the fully loaded cost estimate specific to Ava's move. So taking into account the spousal career assistance I added, the updates I made to her household goods shipping, I'm then again able to view it in multiple currencies, make changes, download it, and also view exactly what's included for each individual benefit. I can see the fully loaded cost as well as a full detail of tax costs. And if I'm happy with the calculation, I can then go ahead and review the final proposal that's going to go to the business for them to review this move. So at the proposal stage, we present to the business a fully loaded estimate as well as a business case, bringing in the employee's talent profile and the package proposal to really form that complete view of the employee's proposed mobility. So first of all, high-level summary of the costs with the ability to drill in to the full cost estimate. The business case for Ava's specific move, so understanding what's the driver, what is the primary reason for selecting this person, what's the impact of not having this assignment go ahead, what's the impact to the home of her going on assignment, and so on. Adding in the layer of talent, so making sure that you are investing in your best and brightest and it is aligned with your talent development policies. Information about Ava herself, the move, the role, and her family, and information about the proposal that we've put together in terms of benefits. And I can then go ahead and send that for approval, and it will then get passed to the next business approver who can then review and decide whether they want to proceed with the move. So from an estimate perspective, we've brought all the different figures together. We've created that initial fully loaded estimate, and we're able to view exactly what the reason is for the assignment, as well as the costs that are projected. Now, as a move progresses, we're then able to see exactly how costs track over time. So taking a look at Christine here, where she is going on assignment in January, and I can see from her finance tab that some of her services have already been kicked off, and I'm able to view at a summary level her estimate cost and also any actual expenditure that's taken place, broken down the different stages of the assignment. I can view a detailed cost estimate for her. And I can also view against each individual benefit the exact cost that's been applied versus the original estimate. So at any point in time, I can easily see what the spend is, how we're tracking, if there's anything that's gone over budget that I need to be aware of. And then, of course, on an aggregate program basis, I also have the ability to view this in detail. So within our reporting section, we've got a full suite of reports across finance, allowing you to view reports, of course, on estimate to actuals, but also other spend detail, estimated spend reports, details on core compensation, allowances, and of course the detailed year-end tax reports, so giving you all the finance insights that you need from a program perspective. And then bringing them to life in the dashboard, where I can then come in and see on a real life basis what the expenditure is. So understanding a breakdown of my spend, whether it's by move type or benefit, location, organization, and then tracking it over time. So seeing it by payment date, how it's changed year over year, what's projected for the next 12 months based on our history, and also averages over time. So again, giving me those full insights into my expenditure on my program at the click of a button, making it easy for me to see exactly what I need to be aware of when it comes to my mobile spend. So with that, Holly, popping across and just seeing if we've had any questions.
Yeah, we have. So the first one is, can we use our own data tables and rates in the cost estimate?
That is an excellent question. So yes, absolutely. So The Topia platform is incredibly flexible, and we work with a wide network of partners. So we, of course, can ingest any rates and tables that you have, and we're able to bring those to life in line with your specific rules and logic, whether you have unique shipping rates as defined for a particular region or particular routes. Those kinds of logic can all be accommodated within the platform, and will then automatically populate based on the specific criteria you have within your policies and generate the estimate in line with that.
Okay, thank you. And then really in the reverse of that, can Topia provide rates and data tables?
Yes, that's again a brilliant question. So yes, absolutely. So we have out of the box 40 plus rates for all the standard benefits that we see across mobility policies. So whether it's things like shipping rates or temporary accommodation rates, the Topia Plan module can absolutely be provided with rates included. There are certain rates that we see customers prefer to provide themselves. So things like COLA, they might already have an agreement in place. That's absolutely fine. We can ingest it, or we can absolutely provide COLA rates in collaboration with our partners as well.
Thank you. And then last question is, tracking estimate to actual expenditure is really tricky for us and it's a very manual exercise. Can Topia Plan help with this?
Yes, absolutely, and I can certainly sympathise. I have done manual estimate to actual tracking in my past, and I understand just how cumbersome that can be. As you saw, what we can do is, first of all, as you're creating a new move, you'll go through the process of creating that estimate, which becomes the baseline for your assignment. That is sitting against the assignment record. You can view it at any time. You can make updates over time if, for example, you do a COLA reval. So you've always got the most current estimate. And then on an actual basis, we can integrate with your vendors, your expense systems, and so on to bring that spend data seamlessly into the platform. And then it'll be surfaced in the way that you saw on an individual benefit basis within the employee's move profile, but also on an aggregate basis that you can see from a reporting perspective. But you can, of course, also report on an individual level on a benefit by benefit basis if you need to get into the granular detail.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Nina, for taking us through this today. And thank you to everyone for joining. If you do have any questions, please reach out to us at info@topia.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for joining, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.